Good afternoon. Welcome to the No Glitz, No Glamour daily video from Bankster DFS. Taking a look at the Thursday Night Football Showdown. New York Giants, Washington football team. The start of week 2 is here. My name is Doug Shane. Again, representing Bankster DFS, where we have you covered for all the sports, not just NFL football, baseball, basketball, hockey, soccer, all the major sports, all the niche sports, all the college sports. My guest is in our Slack chat right now, which is all part of your membership. Troy or Brandon will be posting some college plays for tonight's game. They will have slates for Friday's game, Saturday, Sunday. We cover everything. We cover it all. We also have bonus channels, including sports betting, Bankster University, which is our training wing. We talk about sports cards. We have a partnership with PrizePicks DFS, where you can get a 100% deposit match up to $100 on your first deposit. There is a link in the description box to help you get there. With that Bankster DFS membership, for all those sports, we give you daily player pools, a Slack chat with all those channels and award-winning content, articles and analysis from FSWA award winners like myself and Jeff Kaminsky, and a staff full of Team Bankster members who I believe will be future FSWA award winners and are the best team in the business. $3.99 is all it takes to become a member of BanksterDFS.com. $3.99 per week, less than $4. Less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks gets you access to everything we do. We do not charge you per article. We do not have any hidden fees. It's not, well, Bankster University is more and Slack chat is more. No, under $4, $3.99 a week, and you get everything. Everything we do. You can lower that effective cost by using a monthly or yearly option. And please remember, your price will never increase as long as you continue your membership with us and you do not cancel. If our price goes up for new members, it stays the same for you for the life of your membership. If you like the sound of my voice or you just want a little bit more NFL in your life, please make sure to check myself and Michael Gudadero out Sunday mornings, 10:30 a.m. till noon Eastern on our YouTube channel and on Twitter for NFL Live Before Lock, where we will talk about your GPPs, your cash games, late breaking inactives. This week, actually, Gouda will be out of town, so we are bringing in guest host Sean Goodwin, the Dirty Slot. He likes to look at slot receivers. One of our NFL analysts. He's also a hockey guy. He'll be joining me on the stream this weekend, so make sure to check us out. And while you're here, please like, share, subscribe, click the notification icon, drop some comments below to let us know what you're thinking. Let's try to get 20 likes. Let's try to get 20 likes on this video, and I'll do something fun for you guys if we can do 20 likes. While you're here, we do daily videos, hence the No Glitz, No Glamour daily video title. And of course, we do that live stream, so please make sure to check us out. Let's talk NFL Showdown. Giants and the Washington football team tonight. It's not the most exciting game, folks, right? We understand that, but that doesn't mean there's not money to be made and there's not plays that we need to look at. I'm not going to go through every play, every scenario here, but I do have some fun facts that I was able to pull up and some analysis that can help us build our GPP lineups or cash game lineups tonight and take advantage of this game. First thing to understand is the Washington football team, they've played their last handful of games. I believe it's six straight games have gone under the total. They just don't have a really great offense. Ryan Fitzpatrick is out. Taylor HEINICKE's coming in, and HEINICKE's fine, right? HEINICKE was okay in the playoff game last year against Tampa Bay. Came in this past week against the Chargers and looked good. 11 of 15, had 122 yards, rushed 3 times. He does give you a little bit of a rushing floor. HEINICKE is sort of fearless and does like to run. And he's kind of a mistake-free type of a quarterback. The Giants have a decent secondary, but he's going to get you some of those peripheral numbers with the running ability. So I do think he's in play. Daniel Jones has won his last 5 games against the Washington football team. But he's not a very good quarterback. He's also lost 6 straight primetime games for the Giants. Saw that stat out on Twitter. I don't remember who put it out there, but it was a really interesting stat. He actually wasn't terrible week 1 against Denver. Scored that last second garbage touchdown against Denver, but garbage counts. Daniel Jones runs just like Taylor HEINICKE runs, and he's going to have some volume in the passing game, especially with SAQUON Barkley. Not expected to get a full workload. He only had 4 more snaps last week than Devontae Booker, and with this being a short week, I expect him to split snaps again with Devontae Booker. He's kind of an okay play, I suppose, if he breaks a long one or can catch a few passes as a contrarian option, because I don't think a lot of people are going to be on Barkley here. I'm surely not putting him in a cash game lineup. He's in the pool because he's Barkley, but like, I'm not going to have a lot of Saquon Barkley, and I'm not going to have a lot of Devontae Booker because this Washington defense is really good. Couple other things to look at for the Giants. Sterling Shepard had himself a really good game. He outsnapped Kenny Golladay. He out-targeted Kenny Golladay. And maybe that's a function of Kenny Golladay being still a little banged up, not knowing the whole playbook, playing limited practice this whole preseason. Or maybe Sterling Shepard's just the best receiver on the Giants. Him and Daniel Jones clearly have a connection. He looked great coming out of the slot. And we do know that the slot cornerbacks tend to be worse than the outside cornerbacks. The targets you're going to get from the slot tend to be a little bit more easily convertible. And if Daniel Jones feels comfortable with Sterling Shepard, he's a guy that can probably pay off this $8,000 price tag. And I'm pretty sure that's his captain price tag. So if we pull that into the flex, we're only okay, it's $8,000. That's not the jumped up price. Okay, $8,000 is still pretty reasonable for a showdown. Wide receiver one. I really think he's a wide receiver one here. The other thing that we want to look at for the Giants, moving down a little bit, Evan Ingram is going to be out for this football game, and that means we're going to have Kyle Rudolph in at $3,200. Rudolph had all the tight end targets for the Giants in week 1. It's only 5 targets. He only caught 2 of them. He didn't do much, but he will be the tight end getting the targets for the Giants. And we do know that from his history, Kyle Rudolph is an absolute beast in the red zone. Just tends to make really great catches on those short fade routes inside the 5-yard line. Just really good hands. And he's a big guy, so he can go up and catch the ball at his highest point. Can out-jump a cornerback if they do line him up, split out on a goal line type of play. You're playing for the touchdown with Kyle Rudolph, but at $3,200, he is some salary relief. The other guy who's a little bit of salary relief here is DYAMI Brown. DYAMI Brown actually had the most snaps of any Washington wide receiver in week 1, and that includes Terry McLaurin. He only had 4 targets, and he only caught 1 of them for -2 yards. He did not have a good game. But if the team feels comfortable enough to have him on the field for 90% of their snaps, to lead the team in wide receiver snaps, he had a few more than McLaurin, and he had significantly more than their 3rd wide receiver, Adam Humphries. $1,400 for a guy who's going to be on the field as often as DYAMI Brown is going to be on the field. He is a free square. Unfortunately, he's a free square in a game where we might not need a free square because you can put together a pretty good lineup without having to punt a position. But he's a starting wide receiver, and he's going to get a lot of snaps. And if the Giants are going to focus their defensive attention on Antonio Gibson and Terry McLaurin and Logan Thomas, DYAMI Brown could be a guy worth a play. He's someone I'm definitely looking at in one of my lineups. J.D. McKissic's a really interesting name to look at. He only had 1 target last week. Antonio Gibson was on the field significantly more than McKissic, and he out-targeted McKissic 5-1. McKissic's supposed to be the pass-catching back. McKissic was the guy last year who just was getting crazy targets, 8, 10 targets a game. And Gibson was just running the football. He got very few targets. He came off the field on 3rd downs. He was getting the inside the 5 carries. But on a drive when McKissic when they were running hurry up and McKissic came in on 3rd down, he was actually losing those carries, Antonio Gibson. Well, now it looks like Gibson's getting those catches and getting those targets and staying in the game more. It's only 1 game. But Ron Rivera did say that we can kind of expect to see that this year from Antonio Gibson. So my hope is that Gibson continues to do that amount of work. Taking a look at Antonio Gibson, if we take a look here at the game log, he had those 20 attempts, 5 targets. That's a lot of work for Antonio Gibson. And that's a guy that we're going to want to target as our captain, as a workhorse against a Giants team that does have a good secondary but struggles against the run, right? Javonte Williams didn't have a great game last week. Melvin Gordon did pop off that long run, and he was okay otherwise. So Washington's going to look to probably run. I do love Antonio Gibson as a player that we're going to want to have in a lot of our lineups. I'm not saying to fade Terry McLaurin, but I'm not running to put him in my lineup because the Giants have a strong defensive secondary. The other person I'm looking to load up into my lineup for the Washington football team, though, is Logan Thomas. Logan Thomas only had 3 targets last week. But last year, no player ran more routes when they were on the field from the tight end position than Logan Thomas. He saw a ton of red zone targets. He saw a ton of overall targets. He just is a guy that they're looking to use consistently in the passing game. They paid him in the offseason. He's a guy they're looking at long term. He's incredibly athletic, former college quarterback. And the Giants are not good against the tight end. Albert O and Noah Fant kind of rolled over the Giants last week. I think they combined for 11 targets, 7 catches, and a touchdown. Logan Thomas was in for 100% of the snaps last week for the Washington football team. He's the guy who's going to be on the field. And so if the football team is going to do work against the Giants in the middle of the field with their tight end, it's going to come from Logan Thomas. I love the idea of using him in the team today. He's someone I'm definitely looking to target. The other position I'm looking to target here is the Washington football team defense. A lot of people might want to think to go to the Giants defense because Taylor Heinicke's in the game, but I just don't see him as a mistake-prone quarterback. Whereas Daniel Jones has 40 turnovers in 2 years, and he fumbles a ton. And Washington knows how to get to the quarterback. Last week, against a really good Chargers offense, and the Chargers beat them, Washington still had 2 turnovers and 2 sacks. They put pressure on the quarterback. And as we know from every video I've ever done, when we're looking at defense, we want pressure on the quarterback. Pressure leads to sacks, fumbles, and interceptions. And few teams in the NFL have a better front seven and surely not a better defensive line than the Washington football team. I love them as a play here against the Giants. I have no problem using them as captain and stacking them with Antonio Gibson to try to get that Washington jumps out to a small lead, grinds the clock, plays strong defense, runs the ball with Gibson, kind of a stack. I think that's definitely a way that we can take a look at this game. Both kickers are usable. I wouldn't use more than one kicker on my team. And I also think that Darius Slayton had a really bad week 1, but he's still an athletic guy. And I say really bad because he only had 3 catches, but he did put up, and one of them was 42 yards, so he didn't really do much otherwise, but he did have 7 targets. He's a guy for a lower price than Kenny Golladay, who I think can do some work. Again, if you're going to put the best defenders on Kenny Golladay, then a guy like Sterling Shepard, a guy like Darius Slayton, and Kyle Rudolph are going to be the pass catchers that we're going to want from Daniel Jones. I'm not doing an all-out fade of Golladay, but I do think that there is an avenue to just fade him in tournaments for the most part and be way underweight to him and just make your lineups a little bit different by going away from the bigger name players like McLaurin, like Barkley, like Golladay, and still taking advantage of the matchups that are there. And that's how we can differentiate ourselves in a GPP. Maybe in a cash game, I do use a guy like McLaurin because he'll be pretty popular, so he won't kill you if he doesn't do well, and he'll totally crush you if he does well in a cash game. But the way I'm going to look at a lineup here, I like Antonio Gibson as a captain. I am going to take the free square here with DYAMI Brown at $1,400. Oh, Gibson did not go into my captain spot here. So we're going to put, and I'll just build this lineup because I want you to see kind of what I'm talking about with what we can do with this lineup. And of course, it's good to talk through my process as well. So we got Gibson and Brown because I kind of want that free square, even though we don't necessarily need it today. I think it makes sense. I am going to stack Gibson with the Washington defense. I do think the Giants will be throwing the football, and Daniel Jones is going to have to be involved because they're going to be behind. So even if he's fumbling and he's not putting up 300 yards passing, he's going to scramble. That's what Daniel Jones does. He is a threat for a touchdown, and 10-4 is not a terrible price for a quarterback. I do like what Taylor Heinicke brings to the offense, so he makes a lot of sense. And so then it comes down to, do I want Sterling Shepard? Do I want Logan Thomas? Do I want Darius Slayton? For this lineup, I'm going to probably go for a little bit of correlation with Jones and Shepard trying to play catch-up to the Washington football team. But I do think, again, that there's an avenue here to go with Logan Thomas. And maybe what you do there, if you wanted Thomas, maybe instead of Shepard, you take the football team defense and make them your captain, put Gibson in there. And maybe then you can put Logan Thomas in instead of, you can pull someone out. You can play around with the team is what I'm saying. Maybe you don't need DYAMI Brown, and maybe you go from Shepard down to Kyle Rudolph. And so you'd have Washington and Gibson and Jones and Heinicke and Thomas and Rudolph. And you can kind of play around with your lineup that way. Hopefully this gave you an idea of where we can look at for this game and some of these facts. Particularly the one that really stands out to me is the 93% snap share for DYAMI Brown and the 5 targets for Gibson in the passing game to the 1 target for J.D. McKissic. Hopefully that will help you guys build better lineups and allow you to get some of that value and to see where you can make the plays to take down a GPP and improve that bankroll. Do not forget that you can join us here on Sunday mornings live on Twitter and on our YouTube channel for Live Before Lock with myself and guest host Sean Goodwin, 10:30 a.m. to noon. And please check us out, banksterdfs.com, $3.99 a week. Get you access to everything that we do. If you have any questions, please hit me up on Twitter at Bankster17. Again, my name is Doug Shane. Thank you for taking the time to watch this daily video. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe, click the notification icon. BanksterDFS.com. Have a great day. Enjoy your Thursday Night Football.